perspective of the Constitution. And that's why I say he's such a great example to other judges, because in this day and age of political correctness and legislating from the bench, Judge Roll would not do that. And he was the first judge to hear my lawsuit. And without him, this lawsuit wouldn't have made it to the Supreme Court. And today I want to honor him, as well as the Marine veteran that we honored this morning, Jose Guerrero. And I really want all of you to study what you can about Judge Roll and the things he stood for, and the amazing men that we lost on January 8th. You'll remember that was the shooting that Dupnick was all trying to blame us for that shooting. You'll remember he actually singled out Sarah Palin and Rush Limbaugh for creating an atmosphere where people have to just start shooting each other. And that's the type of leadership that we have in this county, and it's so obvious that this man has been at the job way too long. And I would like to go back, though, a little bit historically. Why the big increase of SWAT team usage in America? Do any of you get that? Do you know why? Yeah. All right.
The war on drugs.
Oh, heavens. We have to have the war on drugs. Yeah. Well, actually, though, if you go back and look at television, you're going to see another reason. Remember television shows in the early 80s? SWAT was one. And do any of you even know what SWAT stands for?
Special Weapons.
Special Weapons and Tactics. Yeah. So we got to go on drug, marijuana. A guy's growing 3 small plants in his basement bathroom, and we need special weapons and tactics for that.
Absolutely.
He's a pothead, for God's sakes. He probably, it mellows you out, okay? Maybe you cops should try some. You can look at the history of SWAT team and how the scale of SWAT team creation coincides with Hill Street Blues and the SWAT television movie. Yeah, or show, not movie, show. So SWAT becomes real big, and now all these chiefs and cities want their own SWAT teams. Well, you go to all that expense to get that, so what do you have to do? It's like you have to use it. Oh man, hey you guys, you're having a departmental meeting and you're going, you know what? The city council bought my sales pitch and bought us a big old SWAT band and all this training, paid for all this SWAT training, and paid for all the equipment and all these new guns, and we never use them. We got all ready for the dance, and we can't dance. And so, they want to start dancing. And no, I'm not talking about Adam Kokesh getting arrested at the Jefferson Memorial. That's another issue. Okay? And I'll tell you, what I saw about my friend Adam Kokesh is I'm definitely on his side and not the police on that one, too. But anyway. So, seriously, if you look at the scale, you'll see that happened. And so, chiefs of police and sheriffs had to find reasons to use SWAT more often. And so what started happening? We're going into the wrong homes. And people are shocked and getting shot because they don't know why the cops are in their homes. And they think they're looking at a suspect and this guy's acting crazy, so they shoot him, or they taser him, bro, or they kill dogs. They go in, and so the dogs don't react really nicely to I feared for my safety, so I killed the dog. And even worse, I feared for my safety, and I killed the person. And it's gotten way out of control. And I really object to the training mentality in SWAT. I was a hostage negotiator, and we cross-trained the SWAT. And SWAT is only supposed to be used when the negotiation stops. To say that SWAT should be there because somebody might have a gun. How many gun owners in Arizona alone? What, 5 million?
Not enough.
Yeah, not enough. That's right.
How many people might have drugs in their home?
Oh man, you're a dead meat. You got drugs in your home, you know. And I have assailed the drug war as well. And I once was a drug warrior. I was an undercover narcotics officer, agent, and I learned what the drug problem is, and I learned what the drug war is. And let me tell each and every one of you that the drug war is a farce. And I would say hurry up and legalize all of it and leave the rest of us the hell alone. You know what, there's too much money into it, and I'm sure government doesn't want to stop all that money being poured of ours into the drug war. And I don't use drugs, and I pray that you don't either. But there's one thing worse than drug abuse or drug addiction. The drug war is worse. And what really bothers me about police officers is they don't get this in training. They don't receive this in training. That we put the safety of the individual first. We're trained in law enforcement that it's my safety I put first. Where did we get that from? That's the most selfish attitude I've ever seen in my life. When they came in your home, they should have said, put the gun down. When they saw him, put the gun down. You're outmanned, you're outgunned. We are the police. We're from the Pima County Sheriff's Office. Put the gun down. And it is. And I've got to ask, I'm sorry, I've got to ask something here. I think this is extremely startling. We hear all of a sudden after the shooting that Jose shot at them. That's the first thing we heard. Why did we hear that? Why did we hear that? Because the officers are what? Trying to CYA. Oh, we've got to cover this. We've got to cover our butts on this one. So we better say he fired first. That should be the number one thing that Sheriff Dupnick is concerned about. He is their supervisor. He is the one they work for. He reports to the people of this community. Tell me why, Sheriff, instead of making up more excuses as to why this death occurred in your county. I don't want to hear any more excuses. I want you to tell me what disciplinary action and what investigation and internal affairs you're conducting to see why an officer lied about a shooting. Yep. Now, if he said that, and he said now, well, no, that was a mistake. He didn't really shoot at us. That means that some officer wasn't going to go along. Some officer was going to cross the blue line and not support the lie. And so because they found the gun with the safety still on, so they know that this honorable Marine did not intend to shoot at them at that point. He was checking it out. And Stewart was absolutely correct. The Marine was following proper procedure. Check your target out first. SWAT team members didn't do that. In all police training that I've ever had, it's always know your target first. And I'm going to submit this, and I know this is really going to shock a lot of police officers all across the country. And let it shock them, I hope it does. But this is what you need to do. There's one thing worse, my good fellow officers and sheriffs. There's one thing worse than getting shot. And and that's shooting the wrong person. That's what I could never live with. I would rather die than to have to live with the fact that I took someone else's life, an innocent person. I could never live with that. Take me first before I do something like that, ever. Could you imagine the 11 bullets that missed? Had it hit her son or her? What would we be talking about now? What would the excuses be from the Pima County Sheriff? Yeah. Could you imagine? And this brave Marine did exactly what Stuart said. Put himself between him and the threat and his family. Made sure they were safe, and then he went to find out what was going on. And I guarantee you, I would have had my gun. It probably wouldn't have been a rifle, it probably would have been a pistol. And that's the kind of policy change that we need. First, you have got to look at the ridiculous nature and policies using SWAT teams in the first place. This could have been handled so easily without a SWAT team. So easily. And I can only tell you about when I was a detective, that we would have gone, I would have gone to his place of employment at about the time he was leaving. And I'm going to say, Mr. Guerrero, we're going to do a search warrant on your home right now. You're going to stay here with us. You're going to be with Officer Smith in his vehicle. Is there anything in the home that you need to tell us about? He says, no, my wife's there. I don't want her hurt. He says, nobody's going to be hurt. We're going to go in. Here's a copy of the warrant. Give it to him. Go search the home. Okay? Do we need a SWAT team now? For Vanessa? Give me a break. So, the whole thing is diffused. We're still serving our warrant. Nobody dies. And that is a less of a threat to the officers, for God's sake.
Amen.
And neighbors. I mean, this whole thing. And if this gets swept under the carpet, oh my gosh. Now, please, government, be accountable and responsible and follow the rules. For God's sakes, can we follow the rules for once in this country? And so, my other plea has been to law enforcement for the past 20 years. Can't we believe in America and still be cops? Can't we still enforce the law, but believe in American ideals?
Yeah.
Can't we believe in our Constitution? Can we believe in the Founding Fathers? Can we still believe that what Patrick Henry said about the holy cause of liberty and principles of freedom, principles of liberty? Can we have law and order and still be God-fearing Americans? And can we still care enough about each other that we put one rule first, the golden rule, that we were not going to do anything to them that we would not want done to us? And that's the rule that needs to be far more important than enforcing the law. And maybe, just maybe, if we have officers and sheriffs who follow the Constitution and put Americanism first, that we'll have fewer of these incidents. Instead of being trained, I go home no matter what. Now, I don't believe in that anymore. And maybe I just don't fit the mold. Yeah, and I don't want to. And I'm going to have to tell you, there's some things that happened getting us down here, and there were some dissension in the ranks within Oathkeepers about not wanting to be here with Vanessa and your family. And some of them aren't here. And Stuart took a lot of heat. And he's taken a lot of heat since coming up with this most amazing organization. And I'm proud to stand with Stuart Rhodes. And I'm proud to have made a new friend today. And her name is Vanessa Guarino. And I'll say it again. What happened to your husband was wrong, and I am so very sorry. And everyone in Arizona, from the governor to the sheriff to every local officer, they all owe you a very profound apology. What happened there was wrong. And I don't pretend to be able to say that and make everything all right, especially with what you're going to go through explaining this to your children and how you could possibly explain this to your two young boys. But I hope you'll tell them that there was a lot of people here in Tucson today and from all over the country that extend their heartfelt, sincere apologies to you and your boys. And we love you, and we're here for you, and this is America. And I've written a little book, a lot of you have seen it before, and it's called The County Sheriff, America's Last Hope. And on May 5th, that wasn't true. And this sheriff should be replaced.